We want to thank our sponsor, Dark Kryptonite. Dark Kryptonite stops ransomware, malware, and phishing in their tracks, eliminating cybercrime, fraud, and information warfare. Dark Kryptonite utilizes advanced blockchain algorithms and zero-trust models. Learn more at www.darkkryptonite.com. My guest today is Helen Yu, the founder and CEO of Tigon Advisory Corp, Vice Chair of Global Cybersecurity Association, and the host of CXO Spice. As a board director, Helen brings a unique perspective to the boardroom. She helps CEOs achieve multi-billion-dollar revenue growth and record profitability from startups to global titans like Oracle and Adobe. An avid adventurer who trekked to Mount Everest Base Camp and ice climbed glaciers. Her book, Ascend Your Startup, Conquer the 5 Disconnects to Accelerate Growth, won first place in business category at New York Book Festival and Firebird Award in addition to Wall Street Journal bestseller. Hey, welcome to the show, Helen. Maybe you could tell us to start off, what keeps you up at night? What is your cyber fear?
Well, thank you for the warm introduction, Scott. It's such a pleasure being here. I actually have always been a good sleeper. However, there are 2 things that keep me up lately. Economic uncertainty and security vulnerability. Let's unpack a little bit here. We all know the recession is imminent. ChatGPT is accelerating AI in the data-driven world. And then IoT is exploding. Companies are re-evaluating remote work. So the workplace is changing. And consumers are driving the race toward greater sustainability and demanding more accountability from companies. In the meantime, big tech companies are scaling back. Market volatility, trade policy, geopolitical tensions, Ukraine's invasion, and unexpected events like natural disasters or pandemic are all major concerns, and then they drove the uncertainty. And from security vulnerability perspective, Security Ventures predicts that by 2031, ransomware will cost victims $265 billion each year, and it will attack business, consumer, and really or any device every 2 seconds. That's 30 attacks in every minute. So the benefit and risk of advanced technology go in tandem, right? For example, attackers now are using ChatGPT to refine malware, personalize phishing emails, and fine-tune algorithm designed to steal credentials. Actually, I was hacked the other day, and my personal credit card number was used as a result. So I'm worried about our national security and critical infrastructure, such as the power grid, the internet, the gasoline pipelines, and they can be really vulnerable to attacks which have some more severe consequences than pandemic.
Wow, those are some serious things that keep you up at night. Thank you for sharing that with us. Hey, I'm curious. I mentioned it at in the introduction about your book there. I'd love to learn a little bit more about it, Helen. Maybe you could share with us, even just maybe tell us about the process that you used for writing your book. How did you find time to write it? I'm curious.
Yeah, thank you for noticing that, Scott. I actually took a year off to write this book. It happened right at the beginning of the pandemic. This book, though, the content of the book has been in my head for more than 10 years. Because I write every day. I have my own diary every day. And it was a book to honor the great resilience that really taught by my grandmother growing up. If you think about it, scaling a startup is no different, right? It requires a great resilience, scaling up a company as well. So it is a book that honors the entrepreneurs, but in reality, it's not just a book for startups. It's a book for business leaders who are looking for inspiration and innovation as well.
And that's really important, I think, to your point, because I think about it, our business has been in business 50 years, but there's still takeaways, it sounds like, from your book. So I certainly look forward to diving in and reading it. I don't think of us necessarily as a startup, but we're always innovating, and we're always trying to find new ways to innovate and motivate the staff with new technologies and things coming out. So certainly it sounds like an exciting read. Tell us a little bit more, because there was mention there about motivation and a promise to your grandmother to do something, that a challenge that you kind of took on. Tell us a little bit about that and how that's weaved into the book as well.
Sure. I mean, when my grandmother passed away, I was by her bed, right? She said three things to me: stay special, make the world proud, and spread my ashes in the tall mountain. My grandmother never asked anything from anybody. And I knew what she meant was not to bother me to spread her ashes, but she wants me to stand tall and be able to do things that, really be able to do things that make the world proud, right? So that's why, when I grew up in a family where we had 9 cousins. I was the youngest, only girl. We all raised by my grandmother together. So in that environment, I learned how to survive in the male-dominant world. And that's being said, after she passed away, and there's some debate. The boys said, maybe we can just, rent in an elevator, or, the airplane, or to spread her ashes that way. I mean, or some of them suggest the hill, right? The hill is a mountain somewhere close by. I said, no, a tall mountain. I want that to be the tallest mountain. So 5 of us set off on this journey. Obviously, I could not afford for personal trainer, neither anything else fancy. But as a U.S. citizen, you can't not get into Tibet without hiring a Sherpa, without hiring a driver, or getting a permit. So we did that, and then all 4 people who went with me was not able to make it. They were that day, it was tough, right? So we were really quite prepared. So this book is about what I learned through that near-death journey, and then how I applied the 4 things I learned to business world. And then looking back, all the things I do in the business world is highly, a lot of things that I learned from that trip. Number 1, you have to be very prepared, no matter what you do, what kind of business you're in. Number 2, how you adapt. Number 3, you acclimate. If you climb a mountain, Mount Everest, you can't go all the way to there are 5 summits, go all the way to the top. What you do, there's a base camp there, right? Allows you to, if you go to summit 1, you come back to the base camp. Then you go to summit 2, you back to base camp. So you go through that process to get really acclimate, right? You acclimate your physical condition to the high altitude. So even though we just went to the base camp, we did not go all the way to the top, but that was a process for us to learn. And that day, as you know, once we get to the, I think at the bottom of the hill, the weather was really warm. And then because some of the people were not prepared, they have to reverse back, because I had my skiing outfit in the backpack. I had a towel with me. There's a river really deep, and a lot of people had to go back, because when you get yourself wet in a cold condition, that could be really dangerous for you. You prepare, you adapt, and you acclimate, and then you celebrate along the way, right? So toward the end, you got to celebrate. And then, as a business leader, we all go through 3 stages of growth, right? From idea to product to market to scale. Regardless of the size of your company, you could be a larger size of company, but if you launch a new product, you have to make sure the product delivers the value. So at the end of the day, regardless of the size of the company, you have to turn idea into value to your customers. So this book will really walk through the 5 disconnects as you go through the growth stage, different growth stage. As you know, these days, in today's environment, you can Google to find answers if you know what questions to ask. So this book has 26 questions to ask. as I go through the growth myself, personal growth, professional growth myself, sometimes you're stuck, you don't know what questions to ask. And so the intent of this book is to guide the people, the leaders, right, business leaders or entrepreneurs, guide them through the journey and then ask the right questions. And, I identified 5 disconnects there as you go through the growth stage. The first disconnect is your product market fit disconnect. Because no matter how well you do, right, you can have the best marketing strategy, but if your product market fit is not aligned, you won't get far. And then the second one is define minimum repeatability disconnect. We all know minimum viable product, right? That's the common terminology in the startup world, in business world. But not until you identify that repeatability, you won't be able to scale. And then third one is voice of customer disconnect. We can have the best strategy, but without the validation from our customers, and then without making adjustment based on customers' feedback, you won't be able to go further. And then the last 2 will be measurement and process disconnect, right? How do you, depends on what function you're in, how do you get aligned at the strategy level, but then making sure you align your strategy with the execution plan through the measurement and through the process that's relevant to your business leaders in different functions.
Wow, it sounds like a lot of work, but I see a lot of nice parallels to running a business and for somebody that's thinking about starting up. But hey, Helen, maybe you could tell us a little more. Say somebody has interest and they maybe just want to reach out to you and work with you, learn about some of the great stuff you're doing, or get a copy of your book. What's some of the best ways to get in touch with you?
Sure. I mean, Tigon Advisory offers fractional CXO services to companies of all sizes. We partner with Grizidi to provide managed security services too. We also help organizations understand their threat landscape, apply the NIST framework to identify and assess risk, improve defenses, and develop cyber risk strategy and manageable action plans, right? They can reach out to me through LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube channel. I have my CXO Spice YouTube channel, or they can just send me an email, tigonadvisory@gmail.com.
Okay, great. Well, thank you again. Appreciate your time and the insight you shared with our audience, and certainly appreciate everything, taking your time to come out and share all this, and success on your book too. Congratulations on that.
Thank you for having me, Scott. I appreciate the time.